Welcome to Just Ask Psychology. And I'm going to welcome just now Lauren Aron, the founder of the Hope Space. Why is she here? Because we have an incredibly beautiful topic today. We are talking about two people sitting in the room. Of course, you know, two people sitting on the room in this podcast means two people sitting in therapy. And no, I do not talk about couples therapy. I talk about a particular presentation, suffering, diagnosis, if you like to call it, that when this is given, we in the therapeutic space often say, another invisible gestalt walks into the room. I'm talking about eating disorder, disordered eating. So when we as a therapist sit with people who have in vertical commas an eating disorder or disordered eating, quite often we do not work solemnly with that one voice the client, the patient brings, but we work with the other voice too, the voice of the disordered eating or eating disorder. And I'm absolutely in awe and deeply, deeply grateful that Lauren comes to the podcast today, because she is a specialist in disordered eating, eating disorder, and trauma. So I'm really, really grateful for her, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy the podcast Just Ask Psychology with me, Dr. Ute. And here she is. Lauren, thank you. Thank you for coming. Really, honestly, thank you for your time. I know you have a lot of stuff going on in your private life. I have no idea how you cut out coming here to Lambeth to film here. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Of course, it's such a privilege to be here. I've been so excited since you invited me when we first met. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful that you have asked me to come here today.
See, that's why I do that. It's all about my ego. It's never about you who are watching. It's all about my ego. You are an expert, what I called in the intro, eating disorder and disordered eating. And of course, you are an expert in trauma because they, of course, link. Yep. When I sat in an MDT is a multidisciplinary team meeting, what we do in our worlds, where different disciplines are sitting together and in which we are then having a thought about clients so that they are held holistically. This is, of course, done with consent with the client. I just wanted to let you know when I use these abbreviations, I can't even pronounce the word, what I mean with that. So I sat in an MDT the other day, and we had a deep thought about a particular client, and it was different therapists, different people from the medical community. And one person then said, is there a second voice in the room? Because this particular client was diagnosed with a severe eating disorder. So that was, for me personally, the first time I heard this idea of eating disorders come with a particular voice. So I read up on it and I realized I have zero understanding of it. So can you tell us a bit more about it? What it means, but also what it actually means for you. Literally probably not, but actually sitting with not one voice, but two voices in the room.
And I would probably say multiple voices.
Even more than two. Interesting.
There's a theorist, Dr. Richard Schwartz, and he, his whole philosophy is internal family systems. And how that theory came about was he had worked with children with bulimia, and he was a family therapist.
Okay.
But when he started working with these clients, he started to realize they keep on talking about these different parts of self, right? I have this one part that is really punishing, and if I eat too much, it makes me want to be sick, right? And then all of these other parts that came up, and this is where this kind of concept started to come in, and probably before his time, but he has really, gone forward with this idea that there are these multiple parts of self, and they're like your protector parts. And so definitely when you're in a room with someone struggling with disordered eating or eating disorders, you will hear this language. And it's very, very interesting, because most people that you sit with and you say, but can you hear that there's a different flavor to that part of you?
Yeah.
They'll say, absolutely. The eating disorder voice.
Yeah. Or voices.
They can absolutely distinguish that from Lauren, from Uta, from themselves.
I think that's really fascinating, because, guys, of course, these voices are thoughts, right? So that's not the spoken, audible voice.
No.
And for those of us who are not very reflective or don't do a lot of inside work, which is normal if you don't have to do it, right? We have this belief that a thought is a thought, right? Thinking is thinking, belief is a belief, full stop. But what we do know is that, I would say, the tone, the intonation of a voice, an internal voice, forgive me, an internal voice or a thought can change. In anxiety, so the topic I love, I had a client who once said to me, and then the field marshal comes online and tells me what to do. And with that description, field marshal, I knew what tone this person, what they had in their mind, in their brain, and with they had to deal with. Is this the flavor you're talking about? This is
absolutely the flavor of it.
Interesting. Yeah.
But the thing is that when it becomes quite severe, like maybe the client you're describing in the MDT, that almost becomes most of what you see in the room, right? So the healthy parts, let's say, or the adult parts of the client is like they get shrunk.
Okay.
And the eating disorder part takes control of everything in their lives, their relationships, how they feel about themselves, how they feel about others, what they intend to do with their day. Okay. So actually, as a therapist, noticing that part and building a relationship with it, and also helping the client understand that relationship with their own part. When does it come up?
Yeah.
When is it activated?
Yeah.
How can we befriend it? I think also a lot of therapists are like, this eating disorder is bad.
Yeah, I was just wondering what language you're using, because I'm very much third wave behavioralistic and existential, of course, but it feels more you working with acknowledgement at the beginning.
Acknowledgement, compassion, curiosity.
Yes.
When it's really loud, when that part of us is really showing up, what is actually, if we had to take a step back and witness it, what do you think was actually going on for you? What's happening for you?
So would it be fair to say that when clients come to you, I mean, correct me, stop me immediately, but when clients come to you, would it be fair to say they come with this idea of fix the eating disorder?
Oh my goodness, yes.
And what you are proposing is get to know that what you do not want, you might even be scared of?
Terrified of.
How do people respond to that? Or is it a respond or is it a reaction?
Both.
Okay.
Definitely both. And also how closely connected that eating disorder feels to that client's identity at the time, right? When people get to a place of wanting, to work through and understand why the eating disorder is playing such a significant role in their lives, when you can talk about it in parts language, that this is a part of you that's protecting you, often they do want to understand it and that it makes sense to them.
Yeah.
But of course, when people are suffering for so long, who wouldn't want to come to therapy and say, please fix me and make it just all go away.
Yeah,
But actually, often that part has been there for such a significant amount of time that it's not that easy.
Yeah. I read, again, if I talk gobbledygook, love this English word. Gosh, I love this word.
Gobbledygook, I haven't heard that one.
So if I do speak gobbledygook,
No,
I have to say it again. Just stop me. I read that eating disorder is one of the deadliest diagnoses you can have.
Mm-hmm.
Because once we jump a particular threshold, it has such a grip on you that you can't, that I don't want to say can't change, because it goes against everything I live for. But change, the chance is getting slimmer and slimmer. And in addition, of course, the body jumps a threshold that biological, so the somatic vessel in which we are living, cannot cope with it any longer.
So it is definitely known as the most deadliest disorder of all psychiatric disorders, and this really can be very high risk. I think with people that really struggle with restriction, of course, cognitively, it's our basic need to feed ourselves, to fuel ourselves. But if we're constantly pushing against that and our body just almost goes into shutdown, it's also really hard therapeutically to work with someone when their brain and the executive functioning is totally shut down.
Yeah.
So getting to that person and to, helping motivate them for treatment becomes significantly harder the longer they've struggled with this illness.
Yeah.
And then the hopelessness continues to set in,
Yeah.
right? And no one's going to be able to help me, because this is often what they would call then a long and enduring eating disorder, something that someone has endured for such a long time of their lives. But I don't think that it's hopeless.
No.
And I think that's why I created the Hope Space, because I would never, ever want anyone to feel that, they couldn't get better.
Yeah.
They absolutely can, but it's knowing that this is going to take a long time. If you've had this illness for a long, all of the rules and that are become so rigid, it's kind of knowing you're in for the long run in terms of turning that around and relearning yourself and how you want to engage in the world.
Yeah.
And helping that part not be so protective in that way, but actually trying to give that part a different role in helping them navigate the world.
Oh, that's interesting. So you redirect the life charge this particular voice has. Is this okay to say it like that?
Mm-hmm.
So you're redirecting this life charge onto a different project.
Yeah. What is recovery? It's a really difficult one, right? This could be a whole nother podcast in itself. For some people with eating disorders in recovery, they would say, for a lot of people, they would say, I don't hear that voice at all anymore. But there is also a significant amount of people that say that voice is still there.
Yeah.
I'm in recovery myself. And I would say that the eating disorder voice has taken on a different role in my life. It's the one that it's like the red flag.
Okay. Oh, it's like a supportive warning system, or do I go too far?
It's like a friend that's saying, this is too much. You're at capacity. Slow down, go back to basics. And when it appears, then you just know, okay, I'm on wobbly ground here.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't look at all like an eating disorder. It maybe looks like the anxiety part that you spoke about with the other client, right?
Yes.
It's just that little, I'm burning out.
Okay.
And if you get more attuned with yourself in that different part, you can see it as the protective part, the part of you that is your warning flag.
Yeah.
Then actually it's really, really helpful in helping you stay healthy, looking after yourself, being able to have capacity for friendship, relationships, for work.
Yeah.
But it's all in that attunement, which people with eating disorder struggle, right, to have. So it's the learning how to listen to our body's wisdom in a different way.
Tell us again how you called and how you are calling the work, the space you have created. The hope.
The hope space.
And what I would like to share when you say that, you know what comes up for me is I often see people who have lost the belief that they're worth to find a space in which is hope. So I hope it's okay to say from you and from me to everyone who has listened or who has watched the last couple of minutes, guys, you are worth it. There is a space. You can connect. And there is always, always the ability to change. It's not going to be easy. We are on the same page here, right?
No.
We're not doing positive, I don't know, TikTok nonsense. It's not going to be easy. But the space and the hope is there.
And what I always like to say to the people I'm so privileged and honored to walk alongside, don't quit until the magic happens.
I love that.
Right? So just one step at a time.
We've come to an end. I hope it gave you a bit of a flavor. Connect if you want. You've got the email. Happy to send everything forward, of course, too. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And I love it. Don't quit until the magic happens. I'm Dr. Ute.
And I'm Lauren Aron.
And this is the podcast, Just Ask Psychology. See you soon. Hi, guys. If you ever have a question around psychology, please remember you're always welcome here at the podcast, Just Ask Psychology. If you don't want to come, just want to write in, use the email address, and we will find somebody who is an expert in the topic you're interested in. Also remember, A Minimalist Guide to Becoming Resilient is out. It's my first book, so I'm rather proud of my baby. It's, of course, a book of German precision. Look, I had to say I'm German. It's on Amazon. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon.